know what they've done to the Arabs through riba, causing them to go down and down in poverty and destitution. Egypt most of all. Egypt is suffering, and suffering badly. I was a student in Egypt in 1963-64, and at that time when I went to Egypt, I was amazed by the poverty in Egypt. I am coming out of Trinidad in the Caribbean, and the Egyptians say to me, "Sheikh, those were the golden years compared to what we now have." So the suffering of the people is so intense, it's as though no rain is falling, and just one match is enough to start the conflagration. So they knew that. They knew that. And they were waiting for the match. It happened in Tunisia with a young man who, So to say that everything is pre-planned, no. It is pre-arranged in the sense that you prepared the conditions with no rain falling. Okay? Is this beneficial for Israel? Yes, it is. Why? Because elections are going to take place in Egypt in a few months' time. The Islamic movement is going to win. We know that already. An Islamic government is going to come to Egypt, so-called Islamic government. What's the first challenge it will face? Gaza. These are your brothers in Gaza. You have to reach out to help them. And then Israel is going to raise the cry of terrorism, that Egypt is supporting terrorism. You want this so you can launch your big wars while yet declaring that you're only defending yourself. Go ahead.
I know what circumstances and when God and God will be get loose and get break from their
If you follow the wrong methodology, you will focus on one hadith, one solitary hadith in Sahih Muslim, which says that after Nabi Isa alayhi salam kills Dajjal, فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ, Allah will then send. It doesn't say Allah will release. No, it says Allah will send Gog and Magog. And yet, there is this belief, holding on to this solitary hadith, that Gog and Magog would not be released until Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns. If they're not released, then therefore the barrier, the radam built by Zulkarnain is still intact, and they're behind that barrier, built of iron. Well, I say, why don't you go and search for it? Nobody has seen it in 1400 years. That barrier was destroyed in the lifetime of the Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. But yet, Islamic scholarship is holding on to a solitary hadith using the lazy man's methodology. This book explains the subject. Last question?
We know that the Dajjal and Masih will not be able to enter Makkah and Medina.
When he appears in human form.
Yes.
At that time, go ahead.
So how are we going to relate to current situation? Why is unable to enter? Because he would conquer the rest of the world. Can you please elucidate this hadith?
The Dajjal is already in Makkah and Medina now. Oh yes. But not in human form. It is when Israel has completed a day which is like a week, then Dajjal will enter into our world of space and time. وَسَائِرُ أَيَّامِهِ كَأَيَّامِكُمْ. At that time he'll be born of Jewish parents who never previously had any children. He will be a Jew. He grew up to be a young man, powerfully built with curly hair. And at that time, the attack will take place. He will attack Makkah and Medina. The angels are going to bar him. How is he going to come? Nabi Muhammad ﷺ pointed 20 times to the east. He's going to come from the east. And he could be riding on a donkey. And the donkey will travel as fast as the clouds. And the donkey would have his ears stretched out wide. This is the crucial problem now. We say that this is religious symbolism. And this flying donkey is the modern fighter aircraft. But they, the Salafi, say, no, no one has the authority to interpret anything of religious symbolism after Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And so they're waiting for the flying donkey. Okay? And so when Dajjal is in human form, at that time he cannot enter Makkah and Medina. But at this time, before he enters into our world of space and time, he said to Tamim al-Dari, the hadith is in Sahih Muslim, that when I'm released, because he's still in chains, this book will explain it to you, I will enter every town and every city. Every town and every city means including KL. But notice he didn't mention Kampung. He didn't mention Kampung. And so we say that there is safety for us, for our faith, for preservation of faith, safety in getting out of the cities and moving to the remote countryside. Number two, the army which is going to liberate the Holy Land is not going to come out of KL. No. That army will comprise of people who have no fear of death. I read a work, I'm reading a work about the Islamic resistance in Mindanao. How many centuries they fought? And they defeated Spain in Mindanao. And the American writer who wrote about this history, he said about these Mujahideen in Mindanao, what was remarkable about them was none of them had any fear of death. None. You can't produce that kind of people today. Men with backbones made of steel, who fear none but Allah, and who are not afraid of death. You can't produce that today in the modern city. You got to go back to Kampung, go back to the remote countryside, and build a life which is free from the attacks of Dajjal. And these are the people who will liberate the Holy Land. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم